final score in this one, Virginia gets the win 63-55, a game in which, Coach, you guys trailed by 13, got it within 1, but Virginia just makes a couple of tough, gritty plays down the stretch. We've been to this place before, but how are you processing this one?
Well, I thought we played hard enough to win the basketball game. We didn't play smart enough. We had some opportunities, and you know, I've been coaching long enough that you don't really focus on the last couple plays and make that the determination of the outcome. You know, it's the whole effort, you know, from start to finish. And we just, you know, I told them they were almost good today. You know, we almost got some rebounds. We almost got that key stop. We almost made this shot, you know, and we just didn't do the necessary things to get over the hump to get a win. In a game like this, a rivalry game, a high-intensity game, a very physical basketball game, you have to do a little things to get over the top to win games like this. So, but, you know, just throughout the game, you know, early on we missed some free throws. We could have closed the gap. We could have stayed within striking distance. We made some mental errors on the way we were playing. Some defensive schemes. We missed some shots. You know, we missed some shots, and then we come down the stretch and we miss a box out. We take a couple ill-advised shots. I don't know if we got caught up in the moment, but we just didn't execute down the stretch. And against a good team like this, you know, you're going to lose if you don't come out and play well.
All right, so if we're not going to focus on the final couple of plays just yet, let's go back to the first quarter. That was kind of the deciding quarter, I guess, in this one because Virginia Tech outscores Virginia in the second and third and is tied with Virginia in the fourth. It's just an 11-point gap for Virginia over Tech in the first quarter. What was the factor to the slow start, did you see, or something that defensively challenged Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I mean their defense is stifling. It's a gimmick defense, and they play it well. They've bought into it. They're sold on it. They do it night in, night out, and they've stifled, you know, the best of teams. You know, Louisville and, you know, Florida State recently, and I thought we just got out. We were a little bit unsure of ourselves. You know, whether we were, you know, penetrating. And we have some limitations, you know, we really do. We have some limitations, and it's easy to say, hey, just dribble in there or penetrate and kick, but we have limitations, and you know, sometimes we just can't do those necessary things, and so sometimes they're doing them and they're not as good as they should, and we're forcing the issue, but we just didn't attack it the right way. We went to a different offense, and we were trying to attack the high post. We got some looks. But you know, the whole thing is I need to talk to their three-point defensive shooting coach, because you know in two games we've had 29 three-point attempts, and you know you got to think that, you know, probably 80% of them are good looks, you know, and you know, so we've gone 6 for 58 against them shooting threes in 2 games, and when you do that, you're not going to win very much, and we didn't win, and we didn't capitalize on it. And as a result, you know, they come away with a win, good win.
Yeah, it's about 10% or so for Virginia Tech from the three-point line, which, look, Virginia Tech, it's not shooting 40% from the three-point line, but it's right around 30, 31, 32 or so to shoot 10. That's a big gap. Let's talk about a couple of those small plays, because if you talk about Tech having a few limitations, then you can't make some of those little slip-ups, whether at one point it's Jeanette Hicks driving down the lane, turning to feed it out, and feeding it out with nobody there, making that little slip-up. Down the stretch, there was that box out that was missed that allowed Jakira Brown to get the extra possession for UVA. It's one of those things, especially on the offensive side for Virginia, because if they get the ball back, they're going to take another 30 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
They're not going to get another quick shot up there, so if you're down by 3 or 4, that's a full minute coming off the clock if you don't get an offensive rebound.
Their philosophy mirrors their men's team. You know, they really want to you know, focus on the defensive end and then come down. They're going to be very efficient on the offensive end. She probably could let them go. You know, let them go more offensively because they're talented. Yeah. They're extremely talented. They have kids who can make plays off the dribble. They shoot the three exceptionally well. They're very efficient with it. But I think she probably does that to slow them down so that they have more energy on the defensive end. And I think that's really paying off for them, and the way that they've been playing as of late. But they're playing well together. Those kids, they play well together. But, you know, as you mentioned earlier, you know, we can talk about so many. And I don't expect my kids to play perfect. You know, everyone, you know, Jeanette comes down and she travels, and, you know, there are a lot of plays like that. You don't expect them to play perfect. So every play, if you can just minimize those mistakes. You know, if there is, like, you know, maybe 10, 12 unforced errors, in a game, if you could cut that down to 8 or 6, you have 8 or 6 more opportunities to score a basketball, and it gives you a better chance. I don't know if we make the 3. You know, we've taken them, we haven't made them, but it's just you have to do those things, and you can't have, especially in a low possession game. There's not going to be a lot of possessions. You have to take care of the basketball, and you have to minimize the mental errors.
All right, last one for you. If there was one player that we're used to getting really pretty consistent play from, and it's not that she made a ton of mistakes out there, she was just not nearly as present as we're used to. That's Reagan McGarity with 8 points, 7 rebounds. So again, not a bad game by her, but Virginia found a way to minimize her presence. How did the Hoos accomplish that?
Well, number one, it's going to be a little bit difficult for her to get the ball inside. They're very physical. They're long. They're athletic, and then they can, you know, they have an anomaly. They can bring in a 6'9" post player who's getting better and better. By the way, you know, he's getting kind of scary, but she's just a presence inside. And so it's really going to be hard to try to get Reagan some looks on the block. You know, Reagan does a lot of things, you know, off of the rebounds. Wasn't able to get her hands on them with 2 hands today. And then, you know, she hasn't shot the 3 well. She hit a couple late against Pitt. But, you know, usually when she can knock down that 3, it opens up a lot for her. And she hasn't been able to knock it down. I thought she was rushing it a little bit tonight. And as a result, you know, she was, you know, just stagnant a little bit and didn't give us the production that she normally could. But, you know, she played hard. Just didn't have the results that she probably wanted.
Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Virginia gets the win today inside Castle Coliseum.
Hokies!